Hi, everybody. How lovely to see you all. Let me see your faces. I see some faces I recognize here. This is great. DB Coaching is here. Rachel Temple's here. Adam, Philip, Stephen, I'm glad that you could make it. Brilliant to see you. We'll be talking specifically about some of the challenges that you put in the business support group as well. And folks, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take you through a bunch of ideas. Gareth's here as well. Like, I didn't realize we had Gareth as well. Like, this is, look at you all. Angel, Miles, thank you everybody for switching your cameras on. For those of you that have, it really helps, because I can't tell you how soul destroying it is talking to a bunch of empty rectangles. Like, seeing actual humans is great. Guys, for those with your cameras on, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Cool. Sorry, Stephen, it's you, not me. Hope you can figure it out. But what we're going to do, folks, I'm going to take you through some thoughts as to how I can help you with your businesses. We'll have plenty of time for Q&A. And I've got a bunch of ideas to share with you. But also, as I'm going through this stuff, I want you to please stick questions in the chat. If you don't understand something or you need some help to figure out what this means for your business, we're going to spend about the next 60, 70 minutes together. And I'm going to do my very best to help you refocus on what you need to focus on in order to run a successful business. That's what my cunning plan is this morning. Does that sound all right? Is that what you were hoping for? I'm really curious to know, like, just before you move in, just stick in the chat for me whereabouts you are. And I don't mean like in your living room or the kitchen. I mean, like, you know, geographically speaking, where might you be? Because I find that always fascinating. There we go. Oh, we've got the Chatham people are here. We always need Chatham people. Who else we got? Bristol, Wrexham, Barnet, London, Reading, North Wales, Milton Keynes. So sometimes you get those moments. Oh, you're just down the road from me. I didn't even know you exist. There we go. Living the dream, Gareth. I love that. Alex is here from Doncaster. There's a brilliant artist in Doncaster called Janet. I hope you've come across her, Alex, because she is awesome. I'll try and think of her last name before we finish. Suffolk, Oxfordshire. Loads of you, great. Sarah, I hope you can multitask. Cool. I don't want to be responsible for any gravity-related issues. Sandra's from Ramsgate. I love it. Folks, thank you very much. Right, here's the next thing then. My question for you is this. Read my mind. Okay, so the title of this webinar, not yet, I haven't said go. Don't read it yet. The title of this webinar, folks, was all about the number one secret to creating a successful small business, right? It was something like that, wasn't it? So read my mind. Now type in the chat, what do you think would be your one-word answer? And I'll give you a clue. It's not coffee. Tamanya, you've just reminded me of my youth. Anyone born in the 70s, as soon as you see the word dedication, if you're born in the UK in the 70s, there's a song that goes through your head. If you know, you know. So what have we got here? I love in your answers, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste your answers and put them in a slide deck, and we'll make that the presentation. Right? I'm just messing with you. So what do we got here? So Sarah and Gareth have gone straight in with sales. Tamani says dedication, persistence, money, consistency, belief, connection, adapting, marketing, selling. Love it. It does involve a trumpet, Sarah Marie's. And sales says for Sheila. Right. So if you typed the word sales or selling, then two things. Number one, it's the right answer. Number two, there's a good chance you've been through a Rebel Business School course before, because we do point people towards that straight away. And there's a bunch of reasons for that. But I also know that for those of you that go, well, yeah, obviously I get that, but in order to get sales, I need to be dedicated, don't I? I need to be able to connect with people. I need to be good at marketing and so on. So what I want you to think of this is this. The information I'm going to share with you this morning is designed to accelerate you to making sales. Cash ranks right up there with oxygen, right? And some of us have got some weird money beliefs that we've either collected from our parents or that we've developed through our own adult lives and our own life experiences. And we have beliefs like money can't buy me happiness, and the root of all evil is money, and things like that. Like, we collect these things, and some of these beliefs, and I want you to just bear that in mind for a minute, because there is so much opportunity out there for us right now. There is so much opportunity out there for us. There is so much money available, even though the media tries to tell us otherwise, even though our own life experiences make us feel like that, you know, money. And I've been there, folks. I know exactly what that's like. I know exactly the feeling of putting my debit card into a cash machine and then, number one, hoping that it's one of the machines that gives out £10 notes rather than £20 minimum. I know what that's like. I know that feeling of when you type in the PIN number and you do that kind of wincing movement and you go, is it going to let me have any money? Have I got a balance today? Like, I know what that's like. And I also know what it's like to raid my son's piggy bank to put electricity on the meter. Like, if any of you are thinking, I don't believe you about abundance, like what I want you to think about is just imagine for a second that it is. And the situation that you might currently find yourselves in is one that can change if you follow a few steps and if you follow what I'm going to share with you about how to think. And I've got 3 or 4 coaches on this call today. Like, there's plenty of coaches out there that can help us think differently. But I'm going to give you a few things that have helped me to make transformations in my own life, right? Exactly that, Sandra. I think it's a Zig Ziglar. It might be Zig Ziglar. I think it was him who said, make as much money as you can, as quickly as you can, so you can deal with all of your other problems in style. And I subscribe to that point of view, having had a bunch of problems to deal with that I've been able to solve them quickly because I had a little bit of money to throw at them. So, question for this then, folks. What I want to know from you is, what is currently preventing you from getting success in your business? What is currently holding you back from getting the results that you want? What's preventing you from making sales? Because I really want to know, because like a lot of the content for this presentation has come from a few conversations that I've had with people in the support group for the Rebel Business School support group. And just whilst you're typing those in, I'd really love to hear from you. I guess just to double check with you, if there's anybody here that's never been to a Rebel Business School course before, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to give you 2 minutes on it right now, just while you're typing in what your best guess is the things that are holding you back, because I'm going to read through all of those, and any of those things that I don't get to respond to today, then I'll come back to. We'll stick them in the support group. If you've never been to a Rebel Business School course, the number one thing that you need to know from this webinar is that I am not going to try and sell you anything, like we never do. All of our content, all of our programs, all of our support is completely free, and it will always be free. We've got a different business model. There's enough people out there doing free webinars and then trying to sell you a 10 grand program that you don't want, right? We're not that sort of business. So I want you to trust 100% that the information that we share at the Rebel School is designed for one thing and one thing only, and that's for you to get the results that you want. Right, so we're not paid on results. We're not sponsored by banks. Well, not yet. I'm happy to take their money, but we'll keep our content pure. I'm not trying to sell you anything. That's the number one thing for those of you that are new to Rebel Land. And secondly, we've got something like 40 events running every year in the UK. And all of those courses and programs are designed to help you start a business without spending any money, without getting into debt, without the need for a business plan, and to make progress quickly. And I think, like, I meet lots of people that think a 2-week free course in entrepreneurship, what's the catch? Honestly, there isn't one. So hopefully that will help allay some of your fears. And final thought, we've got a sponsorship model, right? Which basically we're like Robin Hoods of business advice. So we find people with lots of cash, we relieve them of it so that we can put programs together and make it free for all of you. That's what our model is, in case you're thinking, well, how the hell does he make money then? We've already been paid. So let's have a look here. So Sandra says confidence. Sarah says setting up a successful Facebook page and getting over the fear of what my family and friends think of me. Not idea about how to get Facebook and Instagram working together. Okay, great. So there's some practical stuff there. Setting up my company, says Alex. I already have everything else I need. Okay, I'm just checking to see if Alex is still here, because I might be able to answer that one quickly. Maybe we'll come back to that. Amber says startup capital. Amber, I want you to go, if you've not done it yet, go to the first day of a Rebel Business School course, because you might realize that you don't need any. And in fact, the webinar that we're running next week is 5 ways to start a business for free. I like free. Free is good. Adam says attracting and connecting with potential customers. Philip says my mindset, connecting the aligned clients, connecting to people that want to buy my services. Yeah, that's really interesting, guys. There's similar answers here. Lack of cash flow to buy stock, says Lynn. Got an idea for you, Lynn. For me, I can't really say, says Hope. I have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I've done tasters and word of mouth. I'm trying to be successful in selling cakes from my home baking business. Got it. Time, trying to work around family life, working from home. I hear you, Denise. Rashida says startup, investment company name, IP, and advertising. Okay. Mental health issues, says Denise. Yeah, me too. Alex, great, you're here. Now, what I would say is for you, Alex, and also Roshila, the thing that I wanted to say to you about setting up a company, now, essentially, you're going to pay more tax if you start with a limited company, right? So I just want to answer this one really quickly. If you start with a limited company, it's likely that you'll pay more tax. Now, the reason for that is if you set up a limited company, you'll pay corporation tax on every single pound that you earn. If you're a sole trader, you can use your tax code. Now, for some of us, if you're starting a business around a part-time job, you might have used up your 0% tax code from, up to 12,750. I think the number was, it might have just changed. So basically you can earn a bunch of money without needing to pay any income tax on it. But if you had a limited company, you earned the same amount of money, you pay 19%. Now, for some people, it makes sense to set up a limited company straight away because they're already paying income tax. So actually it's more tax efficient. Like rule of thumb, 50, 60 to K profit. That's when you're probably going to flip into a limited company and pay less tax than if you're a sole trader. I just wanted to deal with that one quickly. For you, Alex and Roshila, don't let company setup get in the way of you making sales, right? So it's almost like, so when I first started my businesses in 2003, I thought I had to get all my ducks in a row before I launched, but actually I want you to get out there and sell. And then you can always add a limited company later on. Now, that might not fit your personal circumstances, but I mention it just in case. Okay. So, again, like Rebel Business School course, day 5, we spend a day on tax and accounting and help you figure that stuff out. Angel says, I am radio presenter and DJ. I don't deal directly with sales, but I am the product. I've reached a point where I feel need to reach the next level, securing a contract and more consistent employment, doing what I love. Great, love it. Nicola says, I'm rebranding my current beauty business. So for me, I'm looking to refresh my skills, professional content, needing someone local was charging 500 for the logo alone. So it's more myself holding myself back, deciding who to do what. Okay, got it. Nicola, need a logo and so on. Mal says, I'm on universal credit. Okay. Right, good. I've got a really good flavor, folks. Without knowing your personal circumstances, Hope, I'm not sure if that's the thing you need to start with. I do know that lots of people come through our course with a limited company that's costing them money and they haven't actually made any money yet. And for those people, it's like put the limited company dormant, get your business up and running, start making sales, and bring it back later on. Because once you've got a limited company, you're probably going to need some help from an accountant to do your numbers and so on. Great. In which case, you could save yourself a lot of admin and pain. You can apply through Companies House, put the limited company dormant, and that basically means you just got to fill in a form, and that you just have to send them a letter once a year. You don't have to submit accounts or anything like that, right? I want you guys to get out there and sell. And I did exactly the same thing, by the way. And that's the only reason I know that. I did exactly the same thing. So like this session really, folks, is about getting you the results that you need. Okay. Now I see there's such a huge variety of answers. So I'm going to approach this from two different directions. I'm going to approach it from the business. I'm going to approach it from you as an individual, because you are your business. Okay. And here's where I want us to start. What I'm just going to do is, guys, I've got great news for you. I'm going to draw. Now, if anyone's been on one of my sessions before, you'll probably think to yourself, oh no, he's not going to draw, is he? Because I can't read his handwriting. But for those of you that haven't had the pleasure yet, here we go, folks. This is so exciting. Like, my team literally hate me. They hate me when I do this, but you'll see why. So it's a little bit like paint with numbers, really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a graph on the screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. Across the bottom, we've got over time, like this, and sales up the side. Now, what I'm going to put on them in the middle of the graph is the activity that I want you to start with. And if you have already started, but you're not getting the results that you want, I want you to go back around the loop that I'm about to share with you right now. I want you to come back to this, and you'll see why, right? So to start with, the first amount of sales activity when I'm starting or restarting a business, and I like to think of it like that, even if you've been in business for 10 years, if you're thinking to myself, right, I need to get back into sales. I've been running this thing for 10 years. I need to focus on sales. Well, that's like a restart, and it's like pressing the reset button. My advice for all of you is you've got a reset button every day. You've got a reset button every day. And like over the years, and for those of you that are building your business, like some of you are here because you're building a business for your mental health and well-being, aren't you? Because, you know, you probably, like some of you have experienced burning out in a day job. Some of you might not have necessarily burnt out, but you're just fed up of working for somebody else. Some of you are saying, look, I just want to build the life that I want. I want to do something that I love doing. I just can't face working with someone else. Or some of you are here because like you physically can't do it, you know, because you're managing mental health conditions, physical health conditions, life circumstances. Like building a business makes perfect sense for all of us here for a whole heap of different reasons. And like for that reason alone, I've got huge respect for every single one of you that are here, because for all of our programs, we get like 2-3 times the number of people sign up. And I get it, people can't always show up, but all of you have showed up and you're showing up for yourselves. Like, let's just acknowledge that for a second, because it's not always easy. And over the years, and I've been running Rebel full time since 2015, and we set the business up in 2012. I've had good days, I've had bad days, and I've had ugly days. And what I do know is that at midnight tonight, it's all over. Like, I can't change anything that's happened today, so I can press the reset button, and, you know, I can decide what day I want to have tomorrow. I can take a deep breath and I go again. Okay. So imagine that we're all pressing the reset button on our businesses right now. We're saying, okay, well, I've learned a bunch of stuff, but I'm about to take some action and I'm about to try something new. I want you to think about starting with the people that you know. The people that you know, that's what F&F is, friends and family. I want you to think, I've never met anyone that's contacted all of their friends and family members and told them about their business and asked them for help. That's where to start. The next bit out here is, I'm going to call them colleagues. You see what I mean by the handwriting? I'm going to call them colleagues, right? So colleagues, I mean people that you currently work with, that you used to work with, that you went to school, college, or university with. People that are in your network, but you're not necessarily that close to them. I was watching a thing the other day of a really successful guy who's got something like 16,000 connections on LinkedIn. He's kept all of them warm, authentically. He sends them messages every now and then, every 3 or 4 months. Hey, how's it going? What you're working on? Without any ulterior motive whatsoever. And because he knows it's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. It's not what you know. It's not what you know. It's who you know. And you already know some people. Now, the mistake that we make when we're starting and restarting a business is that we try and go straight to an audience who don't know us. And consequently, we get frustrated because it takes us so long to convert that audience. Right. So I guess the thing that I'm pointing you towards here is now some of you would say, look, I haven't got a very big network, and that's okay too. I just want you to know that whoever, it doesn't matter whether you've got one person or 1,000 people in your network, I want you to know that your sales start here. And if you haven't had those conversations with people yet, if you haven't sent messages to the 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 people that you know and say, hey, it's been ages since we've spoken. Can we have a coffee? We'd love a catch up. What are you up to? Is there anything I can do to help you? Kind of going out with that the rebel networking mentality of going out, to offer help, to add value rather than to get stuff. When most people go networking, they're trying to think about what they can get out of it. I'm going to go networking. I need to get sales out of it. But I've got more results from going out with the mentality of what can I give than I have with the mentality of what I can get. So I'm just giving you, I'm just teasing you with a couple of strategies here, folks, of going, before we go out to strangers, let's just make sure that we're having enough of the right conversations with the people that we know. Alex, that's a really, really great question. Right. I'm going to answer that right now. So Alex says, what if your friends and family and colleagues aren't interested in your product? Now, here's what's going on. I had a conversation yesterday with 2 people in my network, 2 coaches, actually. So I had a conversation on a Zoom call for about an hour. And so I'm in the process of, I shouldn't tell you this, I'm in the process of stepping back from being CEO. Shh, we've got a big announcement coming, right? So now I'm freeing up a bit more time. So what do I want to do with my time? I want to be, I'm still going to be involved with Rebel. I'll still be running sessions, but I'm going to have a bit more free time. So what am I going to do with it? And I got this crazy idea of making a film or 2, right? So I was on this call with these 2 coaches, and they said they were really interested. So what are you going to make a film about? And I said, look, I was reading the news at the weekend, and I saw something in the news about the songs of people in Northern Ireland throughout the last 40 years and how they're still sung now, right? So songs that are very dear to the heart of the Catholic community and the same for the Protestant community. And I thought, wow, this is so interesting. And I just dove down this rabbit hole of an event that happened in 1969, which triggered 30 years of conflict in Northern Ireland, right? So I just got really interested in it. And I said to myself, I'm going to make that movie. I want to make a movie about that event that happened because I'm just fascinated by it. And both of those people on the call, as soon as I told them that, one of them said, well, my partner's the film director, don't you? And I was like, no, I didn't know that. And the other one said, well, you knew that I grew up in Dublin and my family are from Belfast, don't you? No. She said, I could introduce you to a whole bunch of senior decision makers and I was like, wait a minute. And then my mind started going. I thought, wait a minute, I know Sean. So Sean, who's an American that was one of the presenters at the Rebel School for a while, he used to make rap videos for Snoop Dogg. Like, he had a film company in LA. Like, he's got the best stories I've ever heard in my life. Now, as soon as you set out your intention with your friends and family, you never know where that thing is going to lead. So I think, my strategy with friends and family and colleagues, I would call it soft. There we go. Look, Paula's in the game. Paula, let's chat. You see, as soon as you set out an intention, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a direct sale, but what it means is this is going to sound a bit woo-woo, guys. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go here, but the universe is starting to organize itself around your intention and what you want to achieve. If you don't say it out loud, that stuff ain't going to happen. So there's a couple of things in play here. Number one is a soft pitch. Number one is a soft pitch. And by a soft pitch, I mean, hey, Jeff, I don't know why I always pick on Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? Would love a conversation with you. Can we catch up? Sure, you're free. I'll jump on a call, or we go for coffee or whatever it is, and say, look, I've launched a business. I'm not getting the results that I want yet in my sales. I would love to test my pitch out on you before I go and sell it to strangers. Would you mind if I just give it a go, and then you can give me some feedback? So I'm not selling to you, Jeff. I'm just like, I want to learn. I am selling to you, Jeff, but I just want to learn. I just want to learn what it feels like. So what happens is I land my business ideas, and every time, like even now, 10 years in, the pitch for the Rebel School changes every single time I deliver it, because I adjust it for my audience. I adjust it based on what's happening in the world. I adjust it based on my experiences. I adjust it based on what my gut feel is the right thing to say. I say it, they give me some feedback, and then I say to them, "Do you know what just struck me, Jeff? It's not something you'd be interested in, is it?" Or that hard sell is sometimes a little bit uncomfortable for some of us. There's another way of doing it. You say, "Jeff, do you know anybody that could help? Do you know anybody that might be interested in this? Because I'm so passionate about this. Like, I really want to get this going. Please, can you help me?" And I think that's where lots of us stop. We don't do a direct ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. So there's something about a word of mouth thing. There's something about getting people in your network working for you. Imagine if you had like 100 salespeople out there. Every time they, like, whatever it is that your business is, if you've got a bunch of people talking about you behind your back in positive ways, that's got to be a good thing, right? So that's what this is all about. And you might make a sale. You might not, but you might. That's why I say start there. The other reason that I wanted to share with you folks is, let me just go back to my my Picasso. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is the learning curve. And the learning curve, the more of this that you do, the more you're going to learn. So by the time you get out of the people that are in your network, you're going to know what pitch works. And I'm going to give you some information in a minute that's going to dial up your ability to pitch really, really well. I'm going to give you some starters for 10. And I'm also going to show you how to find and connect with people. Okay. Because to me, that's really, really key. But what I'm doing is, like, most people skip out the people that they know before they go to strangers. I don't want you to skip that out. That's where the learning is. Cash is waiting for you. It's happened time and time again on our Rebel courses. We do it every single time. And we say, like, for those, like, I stare at people and go, send a message now to someone in your network who doesn't know about your business or you've lost contact with. It doesn't matter if you've got one person that you know. If you only know one person, that's the person you're going to message. If you know 10, pick a couple. If you know 50, pick 10. And like, we had this, I often tell this story. We had an artist in Hartlepool that sold a 600 quid commission because she sent a text to her boss that she hadn't spoken to for 5 years, because I basically bullied her into it. Well, she said bullied. I say encouraged. She said, like, you made me do it. I said, well, you got your phone in your hand. It wasn't me. Right. So, like, here's the bit. She said, I don't want to be that person that turns up out of the blue for 5 years and starts selling. You're not. You're turning up out of the blue for 5 years to reconnect with someone in your network, have a nice chat, see if you can help them, and then test your pitch, ask for help, and see where it takes you. That's the process, really. And then we're going to go on to the strangers, how we sell to strangers. I love that, Hope. You're starting to realize the power of the network, right? You're taking action. I love it. Oh, and Mata, I missed that. Hair and makeup. Okay, like, I definitely need help with that. But yes, when we get the movie thing up and running, it's going to happen, by the way. I know it's going to happen. It's already started. By the way, one of those coaches booked a meeting with me next Tuesday because she wants to tell me her history and introduce me to people in her family. Like, I didn't even give it the hard pitch. I just said, this is something I'm excited about. I don't even know if I'll do it. And like everyone else is getting more excited than me. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. Looks like it's going to happen then. Right, let's go on to the next bit then, guys. Okay. I wanted to share this with you. It's a process that I've simplified and I've created exactly for this session. So I'm excited to share this with you. Actually, let's do this first. This is a refresher for those of you that have been on a Rebel Business School course. I'm going to do it very quickly. And for those of you that haven't been on a course, this might be new information, but when I'm starting or restarting, I have to have absolute clarity on what it is that I'm trying to do. Because if you're not clear on your business, nobody else is going to be. And I'm going to show you what clear looks like, right? And this is the mini experiment model. This is the thing that we've been teaching for 10 years. And it's not our first rodeo, folks. We've trained 30,000 people in 10 countries. And behind the scenes, this is what we teach. And I'm going to give you like, look under the hood for a minute. The love heart. Make sure the thing that you've chosen excites you. Because you're not going to make sales if you're not excited by your business. If you're not excited, nobody else is going to be. When you're starting or restarting, you need to focus on one kind of product or one kind of service. If you try and sell too many things at once, you're going to be confused. Your customers are going to be confused and you're going to get overwhelmed, right? And it's like, you know, it's like kind of just pick one thing. Like if you're doing cakes, for example, focus on selling birthday cakes or focus on selling wedding cakes or focus on selling cupcakes to people in your community or focus on gluten-free or focus on allergy-free or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. It's your best guess of what excites you the most and what you can start right away. The thing that you're closest to, like what makes sense to start with. Then once you get a customer, that's the time when you tell them about all the other things. So if I was running a cake business, in fact, my ex-wife, she had a cake business and she gave it up. The reason she gave it up was because she was sending the kids to school covered in icing sugar and she wasn't making that much money for the hours and hours that she was putting in. Now, what we know now is that the key is to getting more sales from the customers that you already win. If you want to win, if you want to run a successful business, the difference between working really, really hard, getting tired, and then not making much money is because you're not upselling and cross-selling. In the same way that McDonald's did brilliantly, you know, in the 90s when they said, would you like fries with that? Like, I just want a straw, mate. I don't want fries with it. You know, but that was them saying, I'm going to cross-sell. Fries might go well with your coffee. Fries go well with the burger. You know, or they were upselling when they said, is that large? Does anyone else get irritated when people in Starbucks and other chains of McDonald's and so on, they go, is that a large? No, it's not. Like, I take great pride in that. But you only need 20% of your customers to go, yes, or I'll go on then. 20% of your customers, I mean, if you're making £1 million a day, like they do in the McDonald's, for example, you know, some of the bigger ones, then do you see what I mean? Like it's the upsell and the cross-sell that's going to deliver the successful business. But let's not get ahead of our skis, folks. Let's start with where we're at. Where you're at is pick something you love, choose one product or service and put it in front of your target audience. And that's the information that I'm going to come on to in a minute of how do you find your target audience? Because that's the next level out from, you know, from my Picasso graph. And then the third bit is the action that you take to sell. And that's the information I'm going to give you too. What does the action actually look like? When I started my first business, I sent one email. I didn't get a reply, got depressed for 2 weeks, and then decided that my business wasn't going to work. Now, of course, like you look at me going, really, Simon? Yes, because I didn't realize that sales is a numbers game. I didn't realize that I'd have to send 100 emails to get 25 responses if I'm lucky. And 15 of those will be, I'm not interested, thanks. 4 or 5 will be, can you send me some more information? And one person will go, sounds great. Can we jump on a call? Like, sales is a process of a relationship build. It's not a, like when you're at a car boot sale or a market stall or a farmer's market, you walk up and down, you see something you like, you've only been there 2 minutes, and you go, oh, they've got vegetable samosas homemade. Yeah, I'll buy those. Like, that's a different kind of business. And, for many of us that are starting from scratch in our homes, we have to start the process of making sales. Now, friends and family, colleagues, co-workers, anyone in your network, from the number of 1 to 10,000, however many you've got, let's start there. Here's the reason why. People will buy from you if they know you, like you, and trust you. The people in your network already do those things. So you can skip the marketing bit and go straight to the sale. For people outside your network, we need to work a little harder to convert them into customers. So the action that we take is key. Question for you, please type in the chat. What is the number one most powerful thing when you look at your social media platform? Like when you get your phone out and look at, we'll do that for real in a second. Get your phone out and look at Instagram, for example. Okay. And when you look at your Instagram page or your Facebook page or your Twitter account or your TikTok or like what others are there? There's some others, YouTube. What's the most powerful thing? Please stick it in the chat if you think you know. Because that to me is going to be really interesting to see and hear your answers. And I think what I'm about to tell you about was one of the things that I was chatting in the group about the other day. There we go. Just bear with me one sec. We'll get the next bit ready. Right. I'm going to try something that didn't work last time. Let's see. Hopefully it'll work this time. Right, let's have a look. So Sandra says trust. Sarah says video. When it comes to sales, what is the most powerful thing? Your homepage feed, says Philip. Alex says visibility. I like that, Alex. That's a step in the direction I'm going. Followers and reviews, your brand, they have a niche, connecting with people. That's definitely where I'm headed. DB coaching. That's definitely where I'm headed. So yeah, I mean, they've all got a role to play. You're absolutely right. You're just hedging your bets, Angel. But I'm going to type it in the chat. The number one most powerful thing on a social media platform is that. It's the search, because the search enables you to find the people that are in circle B that's on the screen right now. If you don't use the search, you're not going to be able to find them. And it doesn't matter which platform you're on, whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, funny old Facebook, like whatever social media platform you're on, your search will help you find your audience. Then you can take the action to get a sale. Okay. Now, the kind of last section, well, a couple of last bits of the section today is going to be about what the process is once you've found people. But let's just dive into finding people at the moment. Okay. Because I think that's the bit where lots of us get a little stuck. Because you think, like, I want to sell. I know I need to have more conversations with more customers, but how do I actually do that in an authentic way? Like, how can I do that in a way that gets me results? Let's go back to our masterpiece. Let's change the color because I'm just showing off that I can. Right, so the next bit then is this bit here. Now, remember, like, people buy from you if they know you, like you, trust you. So if you're in the same postcode, you have a level of trust that's a little higher than if you lived in, let's say you lived in Swindon in Wiltshire and you're trying to connect with people from Berlin, unless your target audience is people that are living in Berlin. Do you see what I mean? So like, I think what I'm trying to do is I'm looking for any leverage that I can to find my target audience. Now, for some of you, like those with the cake business, great example. This is absolute gold for you. So I really want you to lean in. This is where your customers are coming from. That is in your community. So the steps in this process to find my target audience are, well, I just need to find them, don't I? So how am I going to find them? So I'm just going to try something here, guys, and let's see if it works. Bear me a second. But this is exciting. Right, I'm going to go live on the internet and on my phone. So like anything could happen, folks. I'm a little bit nervous about what my friends might send me, or this is the exciting bit of a live webinar. Let's just see if that works. I think it's going to work. This is how exciting. Now, like the example that I've been messing with here, folks, and I was chatting to, and it didn't work, did it? Let me try again. Let's try again. The thing that I'm going through here, and it was chatting to Stephen. So hopefully Stephen Amos is still on the call. So Stephen said, I think it's Stephen's got a home baking business in Kent, and he was struggling to find his audience. Guys, if you've got your, you should be able to see my phone. Can you see my phone now? Just give me a thumbs up if you've got your camera on, or a nod. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Excuse the picture of my small people. So when I'm looking for an audience, what I'm really after here is using the search. Okay. And I want to use the search. I want to find people. Let's say, for example, my home baking business is in Kent, and I search for Chatham. Okay, so I'm doing a search, and the key to this is there's going to be several geographic areas near where you live that make sense to you. Now, like when someone says they're launching a business, this is a really interesting one for Kent, actually. Someone said to me, like, my business is in Medway. Well, do people locally refer to Medway in that way? Well, whereabouts do you live? They go, do they say I live in Medway, or do they say, oh, I live in Chatham, or I live in Gillingham, or I live, do you know what I mean? So it's like knowing the towns, the districts, these are the keywords that you're going to type in. So step one, type in Chatham. Step two, we look at the accounts in Chatham. So any account with the word Chatham in it, I'm interested in. And there are lots of them. Now, some of them are going to be Chatham in America. Some of them are going to be someone's surname called Chatham. But I bet in here we're going to find some interesting accounts that we can basically have a look at. So with the greatest respect to Chatham Town FC, who is going to care about Chatham Town FC? It's people that live in Chatham, and maybe like a few waifs and strays that moved away from Chatham but still follow the local club, right? Now, so I've used the search. I've found a local account. My next job is to have a look at the 5,891 followers of Chatham Town Football Club. And as I scroll down that list, there's a mixture of businesses and individuals. Now, like the next step, your job as a business owner, if you're selling stuff and you think that your audience are either local people, or you're doing the thing that I said, which is start with people in your community first. Pointless spending our time trying to sell to people in Glasgow and Belfast if I've not exhausted all of the possibilities on my doorstep. Just because I can connect online to anywhere in the world, it doesn't mean to say that I should. You know, I can go to my target customers because, like, oh, you're from Chatham, I'm from Chatham. I'm more likely to want to buy from you. Okay, so here's where I'm heading next. The next job of yours is to follow as many of those people as you can without getting banned from Instagram every day. And I think, like, the last time I checked, the number was 150 accounts per day, 150 people that you can follow. Okay. Now, here's the bit. Let's just stop the share for a second. And I'm literally like, I'm not going to do it now because I don't really personally want to follow people from Chatham Town Football Club. And I've got nothing against Chatham, but I would literally just tap, 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 tap. Any account that looks like a local person, follow, 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 follow. Why? What am I doing? Here's the bit. Now, if you, has anyone ever seen Gladiator? I sometimes talk about Gladiator, right? The opening scene of Gladiator, one of my favorite movies, Russell Crowe, big general, sheepskin on his shoulders, striding through all of the legionnaires, and they're firing arrows on his command. They fire like, I don't know what, like 2,000 lit arrows go across the valley and land on the Germanic tribe, right? Can you imagine what those Germans would have done if only one arrow landed? Is that all you've got, Roman gladiators? Is that all you've got? Now, what I've just done there is I've shown you how you can send 150 arrows a day at your target audience. We haven't even got on to likes and comments and shares yet. That's going to bake your noodle when we talk about that. You simply go, I've sent a notification. Now, most people, when they try social media, they don't like, what happens is most of us, I did it myself, we do one piece of content, stick it on Facebook, get 2 likes and go, no, it's not working. Right? Like it feels hard. It feels like I'm not getting any engagement on my posts. Well, that's because you haven't done enough of them yet and your audience isn't big enough. It's like, you know, and after 3 or 4 bits of content, you go, no, I'm done. I've run out. Like I've lost my energy. I've lost my ideas. I haven't got anything left. So I get it. Me too, right? Me too. Here's the thing. You could send 1 arrow, piece of content. Okay, it's a chunky arrow. It's a good piece of content and something might happen. But my guess would be probably not. I would rather you sent like 1 piece of content a week, but do all of the other things that I'm about to say, right? Have a bit of content on there regularly, you know, and Gary V, and I love Gary V, and I went through a phase where I couldn't stand him again, but then I've fallen back in love with him. You know, he often talks about content is king and it's all about the content that you put out. Well, it is when you're Gary V, but we're not starting from having a multi-million-dollar business and a gazillion followers on all the platforms. We're starting from 0 or 10 or 100 and 150, which means we've got to start where we're at. And I think like the content will come the more sales that you make because you'll have more things to talk about. But a couple of bits of content. But if you followed 150 people a day, or even if you followed 20 people a day from your target audience, guys, like that would be a massive win. You hope you do the search in the platform where you're going to find your customers, the platform that, and if you're newish to social media, and this would be my advice to those of us that are new in the game, you know, pick a platform that you're familiar with, that your customers are going to be on. Don't try and do them all at once. Just do one. Okay, do one, hope. Like pick Instagram, have a little play with it, find some accounts. That gives you people to chat to. Now your news feed starts to get filled with the posts of your potential customers. That gives you the opportunity to like them, to comment on them, to add things to your story. And just like for a little bit of a sprinkling of magic, finding the businesses who have got a social media account who sell to your audience. Again, like local strategy for me is cafes, restaurants, bars, music venues, pubs, that kind of thing that are in your community. Now, what are they doing? They're, bless them, they're selling to your customers. So what you do is you take one of their posts, you add it to your story, or you share it on your feed of whatever platform you're on. It doesn't matter if you're on LinkedIn or Instagram. The same process works, guys. You add value to someone else's business and you say, this is my favorite cafe. You should try the homemade carrot cake here. These guys pull a great pint. Friday nights are awesome, especially with the live music. Post it on your story. Now, what do? They like all of these strategies, like these arrows, Russell Crowe's arrows landing, folks. Every single arrow is a notification. What does a notification do? What does it make people do? It makes people look at your face. you know? You know, it's like notifications are like catnip for the 21st century human. Like as soon as you get a notification, you go, I've got to tap on that to see what it is. Here's when the next piece of the jigsaw fits in, folks. Okay. So what I'm suggesting to you, like if for those of you that want to connect with more people, and a few of you said that, I love that, Angel. Brilliant. Brilliant. That's the game. It's the search engine on the social media platform that helps you find your target audience. Now, I've talked about local. Now, some of you might go, I'm going to change the color again because I'm literally going for it today. Some of you might go next. Oh, I haven't changed the color. I've failed. Undo. Some of you might go to the next bit out, which is this bit. And this bit, which is best way to describe this is like as a niche. This is the niche bit. Okay. So what niche is, you're finding the accounts of people online who've got your audience. Okay. That might not be local. So for example, like if you think of, if let's take coaching as an example, right? So coaching example for you is if I was to go through those three circles, like what's the kind of coaching that I'm doing? So I've picked my business. I'm a coach. I love coaching. Great. What sort of coaching are you going to do? Well, I'm going to focus on people that have, burnt out from work, or I'm going to focus on people that have experienced trauma, or I'm going to focus on people who want to accelerate the growth of their business. I'm going to focus on people who want better relationships with their family members, or whatever the issues that are sort of emerging as the ones that are most likely, for you to focus on what makes sense, what fills your heart with joy. Then you go, well, who's my customer? Now we've got the geographic bit down, but where are my customers going to be? Are they going to be working in a certain sector where it makes sense? Like a friend of mine set up his coaching business, and I said, like, who do you want to work with? He said, I don't know. Like, I've got loads of different ideas. Like, I want to work with young people. I want to work with older people. I want to work with entrepreneurs. I don't really want to sort of focus on one area. And I said to him, well, what's your background? And he said, well, I spent 18 years in retail. And I went, I think you should start there, because there's a bunch of people in retail that will trust him because he's got 18 years experience in a sector. He can talk the same language. It's fascinating. Like, humans are humans, but if we've got a connection because, oh, you did that, I did that too, that means we're the same. That means you've accelerated the trust game. That means your marketing doesn't have to work as hard. Okay, so the strategy that I've shared with you on social media is the same. But before we get to that, let's go through our friends and family and co-workers, whether there's one person or 1,000, go through them first, test, pitch. You're going to make sales by doing that anyway. But at least you're going to be asking for help. At least you're going to be getting introductions. Then we can go like people in my community. And then we can go to people that, okay, so take the coach as an example, the next stage out. If you look at what the issues are that you're wanting to solve as a coach, your customers are already engaging with that content online. They're already watching videos about ADHD. They're already watching videos about how to overcome childhood trauma. They're already watching videos about these things. So think about who are the people in your space, who's producing that content. I did a lovely example in London with Nisa, who's got she was selling moisturizers and hand creams and stuff. She said, I said to her, who's your target audience? She said, women. I went, yeah, no, your target audience. Yeah, but no, she said women. Well, like all women. Yeah. Can we start with women in London though? Is that all right if we start there before we try and sell to people in New Zealand? Let's start with people in London. And I said to her, just tell me, give me a couple of brand names of, if women are going to buy your hand cream, imagine your hand cream didn't exist. What would be the obvious comparator? If they're going to spend money with you and you didn't exist, where would they spend it? And she told me 2 or 3 brand names. I got my phone out, searched for those brand names on Instagram, and found something like, it was something like 250,000 followers plus for each one. And I went, there you go. there's 2 customer lists of 500,000 people for you. Like, is that enough to be going on with? And she was like, oh, I get it. So when you're using the search engine, folks, your job is to get creative to figure out where your audience is hanging out. But don't send 1 notification, send 200 a day. And that's what's going to get people looking at your profile. Now, when they look at your profile, that's the next bit I want to give you. Because when they look at your profile, that's the moment you got to harvest them in that moment. You've got their attention for 3 seconds. If you're lucky, probably 1 or 2. So we've got to make sure that what they see, you've got to make sure that what they see is what you want them to see, and it does the job for you. Hope what I mean by sending notifications is like when you follow someone, they get a notification. When you like someone's post, they get a notification. When you put a comment, they get a notification that says, Hope said, yeah, exactly. You got it. You got it. Every piece of interaction that you do online sends a notification to the person that created it. And that's what we're doing here. Like, this is an attention game, folks. If you're not getting results, probably because you haven't grabbed the attention of enough people. Think of it like it's a funnel. Imagine if like a notification is another way of saying, hello, I'm here. Now, but what you've got to remember is everyone and their cat are on the internet at the moment going, look at me, 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 look at me. So really the more targeted we are with our approach and also our language and marketing, the more likely you're going to be to convert somebody. Right, so let's have a look at the next little bit so that I don't get too excited and forget what I was supposed to be doing, which may or may not happen several times a day. Right. Oh, I've lost you all for a minute. Oh, there we go. Right, so don't do that to me. Like, I looked at my screen and none of you were there. That's like, oh no. Right, you should be able to see that. Okay, cool. So this, like the 6 steps of this, folks, are really designed to, whether it's online or offline, whether it's a verbal pitch or a flyer or a business card or a web page or a social media bio, these are the steps that I want you to think about. Now, imagine that you've just sent a notification to somebody, you've just followed somebody, they look at their phone and they go, I don't know, like, who the hell is DB coaching? And they go like, I'm going to have a look at their page. They followed me. They've left a comment. Like, I'm going to check out their profile. Look at the profile. What they see, like, they're in your shop window right now. The picture at the top, the headline banner, they've got the avatar, you know, whatever picture you've uploaded in the middle, and they've got a bio. That bio, in the shortest amount of time, they need to understand why you've connected with them and be intrigued enough to want to find out more. Right? So here's an example of where this goes wrong. If Stephen with his bakery business is targeting people locally, but he hasn't made it clear on his profile that he's living in Chatham, he can spend all day long sending notifications to people from Chatham, but when they look at his profile, they'll go, I don't know why this baker's followed me. But I'm more likely to connect with the baker that lives close where I live. You know, oh, he's near me. Oh, she's around the corner. Oh, they're from my town. It's a trust thing. It's like, oh, well, that's obvious why they're connecting. And when they don't even have that conscious thought, they'll just tap the follow back button. That's probably what's going to happen. Is most of the people that you've got their attention, they'll look at your profile. If you're lucky, they'll accept the follow request or they'll follow you back, or a bit of both. Right? Now, the art of the bio is, and I'm looking at those first 3 yellow boxes. If you can get across the problem that you solve, that deals with box 1, pitching the why. So, for example, you might say, helping entrepreneurs manage ADHD. just as a random example. Just like a single sentence, short sentence that passes the Ronseal test. I get what this person does. Because again, like if you're helping people with ADHD issues, that would be the outer bit on my Picasso graph, you know, like you're finding people that are interested, like type in ADHD entrepreneur, you're going to find a whole ton of content. I almost swore then. We don't know each other well enough for that. A whole ton of content there that you can start following, liking, commenting, and sharing, and so on. Now, the what is the second sentence of your bio. So the first sentence is, you might call it a question. You might go, are you an entrepreneur suffering from ADHD? The what is, download my free course, link in the bio. Okay, so that's the what. So what I'm pointing to you here, folks, is for some of you, for most of you, there is going to be some kind of freebie that you can create. Now, the reason for that is like, let's take it into an in real life version for a second. All right. Look, guys, I know this was going to be an hour, but I'm going to keep going. Is that all right? Just stay, like, if you got to go, I get it, but I'm excited for this. So I'm going to give you about another 5 minutes or so. Okay. So hang on, let me just check my calendar to see how long I can go for. This is going to be one of those things where, yeah, Simon did an hour's webinar and he's still talking. He started yesterday afternoon. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm good for about 5 or 10 minutes. Right. So, right, what was I saying? Where did I get to? I don't know, because anyone know what's going on? What is this webinar again? I'm just checking you're listening. Oh yeah, the free fees. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. Most of you have got something free that you could give away. The in real life example is, imagine like you set up a pizza business in the high street and expected people to walk in and expected people to book. If you want to speed that process up, you get out the front of the restaurant in a white apron with some freshly cooked pizza, chop it up, and you give it away to people in the street. And then when they take the free pizza slice, right, metaphorically, you've got them. There's a value exchange happened. They owe you because you've given them something for free. You've given them value for free. And that's the principle of this stuff, folks. Business is about giving value, not about making money. Money comes once you've given the value. The more value they give, the more money you make. So what we need to do is just shift that mindset a little into, what can I create that would add value to my audience that's relevant to the product or service that I'm selling? It could be a 20-minute video or a 5-minute video. It could be an ebook. It could be a free thing. Like it could be like, I've got somebody that messaged me the other day about that was a coaching business. She's going to do like a 3-day challenge or a 5-day challenge or something. So she's offering a free 5-day challenge where she's doing like a 20-minute setup. Everybody dials in to their Facebook group for 20 minutes a day and reports back on the challenge to help people make progress. So there's different ways of cutting this. Okay. If you're a cake making business, it might be that you're going to give away one of your recipes, or it might be you're going to give away 5 tips to the perfect cupcake dough consistency or whatever. But I want you to think about that, because when we go back to this for a second, this is all about converting traffic. Without a free offer, and this is where, box number 3 says close the how. So I pitch the why, sell the what, close the how. Pitching the why, what's the problem that you're solving? The what, a little bit of detail about it. The how, click here, sign up now. By the way, another way of doing the free offer is a time limited discount, 50% off the first order before. But you've got to lean into the value add first to get the customers to take action. Once they've taken action, so here's the important bit. Let's go back to my pizza example for a minute. When they've got the free pizza and they do this, that's the moment you've got them. Now, what lots of people do when they give away the free stuff is they don't close the sale in that moment. You've got to do a close. Now, the close is going to depend on your business. The close might be, I'm just harvesting email addresses so that I can start communicating with my audience. Like, it's a classic kind of coach's way of doing it, that you go, I'm going to give away my free training course in how to manage ADHD in running a business. And then you go, great. But to download it, you've got to fill in your email address. Once I've got your email address, I'm going to send you an email once a week. Why am I going to do that? Because marketing is a relationship build, not a one-hit wonder. I'm going to need to see you 15, 20, 30 times consistently over a period of months before I'll spend 10 grand with you. If your product or service value is lower than that, you don't need so many touch points to make it happen. The higher the value, the more trust I need. And this is the fundamental reason why people aren't making sales, is because we're just not showing up regularly enough. And I think, like, if you treat marketing like a sort of a 9-month project and say, anyone that I get in the top of my funnel, I'm going to send them an email a week, and this is the sort of thing I'm going to put in it. You don't have to write it all in advance. I'm just saying the mindset is sales will come at the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th connection, not at the first, not with strangers. And I know our people that brought us up, our parents and carers, said, don't talk to strangers. Great advice when you're 5, terrible advice as an entrepreneur. I want you to talk to strangers. But in order to convert those strangers into a sale, it's multiple connection points. I've got to see you show up regularly. You've got to like their posts a few times. You've got to comment a few times. You've got to go, oh, they're really nice. You're building a virtual relationship with them. And actually, like, the coach that I work with, I had something like £3,000 worth of value from him for free. I read 2 of his books and I was on his email list and listened to loads of podcasts before I decided to spend a shed load of money with him. That's because it's a high value item. If you're selling cake, it's a lower value item. You don't need to see me so many times, but a few times would help. Yeah. So I'll stick it in the chat. So, oops, it's in capitals, but I'm not shouting. It just happened to be in capitals. So I'll put the Rebel one in as well. The Rebel School. Right. Let me go back to this for a second. And this is the important bit, folks. The important bit is that you follow up. So when you send an email to somebody, follow up. If you don't hear back, wait 3 days, follow up. Wait 3 days, follow up. Wait 3 days, follow up. Keep going until they get annoyed with you, or they'll apologize. That's what usually happens. I get binary responses from these. I get something like 15 sales emails a day. I don't reply to any of them. I don't open any of them until I've seen them at least 4 or 5 times. Like, who is that person? That must be important. Right. And that's really what this is, folks. It's an attention game. Okay. I've heard the phrase fail fast. And that's, I think what fail fast means here is, for me, don't send 1 email, send 100. Don't do 1 notification, do 100 a day. And by the way, adjust those numbers based on your excitement levels and capability of social media. For some of you, you might go, blimey, that sounds a lot. I don't want to do that. You don't have to. Like, if you did 10 notifications a day or 10 every other day, like, adjust the numbers based on where you're at right now and what results that you want. But your customers are waiting for you in the followers of your competitors. They're waiting for you in the followers of the businesses that you engage with, that they engage with in your local community. And that's really what I want you to understand. And that's the power of the search engine. Guys, has this helped? Has this been useful? You're very quiet. Okay, last thought for you. And the last thought for you is, this one. If you've got any other questions, folks, I can take like 1 or 2 questions just before we wrap. The final thought that I wanted to share with you is this one. Like no one is going to create the life that you want for you. You have to make it for yourself. And I understand that it's not always straightforward. And some of you have faced some real challenges and will continue to face challenges to make it happen. What I want you to think about, like as a high functioning, various neurodiversity things going on for me over the years, some of which I didn't even realize, that like the thing I want you to realize is this: you can take action. You can take action to solve the problems that you're facing, right? So if you think, I find it really hard to make progress because I don't really get social media, take a social media course. There are so many free ones out there. If you go, like I saw a comment in Canva earlier on, and I get that because I struggled with Canva for a bit to begin with as well. I think it's getting easier and easier. I think someone said they wanted to make a logo. If you're struggling with Canva, do a course. Like Canva's got a help center. Like just recognize that you haven't figured it out yet, but you've got 100% capability to figure this stuff out, folks. It's never been easier to make money doing what you love than it is right now. That doesn't mean to say it's easy. It's never been easier. The steps in the process are to focus first. What it is you're selling, who you're trying to selling it to, take lots of action. Start with your friends and family. Hit the people that you work with or that you used to work with, school, college, university. Get to the people in your community using the social media search engine. Find your target customers in the accounts of other people. Send 100 notifications a day. Give them a free offer and communicate with them. Follow up when you don't hear anything back, etc., etc. Like these, like to me, these, and I think we're in a process of turning what I've just said into like a paint by numbers. You know, like, let's do this all together first, and then let's do this bit and let's do this bit. But if you find yourself that you're missing something, if you think, actually, I can't do this right now because my mental health is holding me back, right, we've got to do a course. Find every free course that you can get on dealing with the specific challenges that you're facing. Invest in yourself, and it doesn't have to be money. It can be just time. There's plenty of free stuff out there, guys. All right. And that to me is the missing part of the jigsaw. It's personal development that got me to where I am. And yes, it is recorded. You'll be able to watch this. You'll be able to watch it on our new platform. Plus, there we go. Ewan, if you're there, please could you put in the link to Rebel Plus? So folks, Rebel Plus is our wraparound support program. Basically, we've got podcasts, we've got free courses, we've got loads and loads of content on there, and it's all free and will remain free. Let me do that. You can create an account there. We'll be launching a mentoring service through there as well later on this year. So, oh, you were on the launch, Sandra. Brilliant. It was fun, wasn't it? What else do I need to tell you? Folks, there's one other thing that I really need from you that would be amazing. Could you just take 5 minutes and give us a feedback form? The reason is, like, we need to decide whether there's any point doing these webinars or not, whether we should just send people to the courses. So anything that you can do to help us capture that feedback would be awesome. Ewan, if you beat me to it, please can you put the link to feedback in the chat? But I might win. Let's see who wins. Damn it, beat me. Good. Has there been anything else that I've missed? Okay, Sarah, if it might be worthwhile starting a thread in the Facebook support group if you wanted to connect with people that have been on this thing. That's probably the best place to do it. Oh, hope there are so many. Like, I would be thinking about, like, think of the skill that you want to learn or the challenge that you want to overcome, and do a bit of research and see if you can figure out who is the best person to do that based on, you know, because they've all got freebies. And just know that when you take their freebie, they're going to relentlessly sell to you forever. You can always opt out. They're doing the thing that I'm telling you to do, ironically. But what's the thing that you're trying to address first? Do you want to boost your sales skills, for example? In which case, type into Google, stick it on Instagram or whatever platform you're on, and find the one that solves the challenge that you're trying to resolve. Great. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, if you can do that feedback form, that would be awesome. We've got Fabian, who's in the team that together with you and collect a bunch of feedback that help us to accelerate getting better. We've done okay for 10 years, but we're really trying to get really good at what we do now. Thank you very much for joining the webinar, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got something from it, and see you on the next one. I'm running one next week on how to start a business for free, so maybe I'll see you there. Take care, everyone. Love you. Bye.